Hey guys, how are we doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another YouTube video. So I'm just going to get into this straight away. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin price action, then we're going to move on to XRP and what I think is coming very soon in the markets. Before we get into that, let me just say there's loads of narratives spinning around right now. Don't panic about whatever's going on in the wider macro. Always something to keep your eye on, but how much weight you put on it is completely up to you. And I honestly think that we hear a lot of narratives, and there's obviously not always follow through in price action. They're more the fear of the narrative is often worse than the narrative itself. So leaving that completely aside, let's get into Bitcoin's price action. Obviously, we talked about how Bitcoin was creating lower highs, but open interest had got just as high as it had at the very top. There's some interesting things to note about this, specifically this candle here. So we had a big candle, a big pullback candle. Let's see what that is in percentage. We pulled back 6% in one day, which is obviously pretty big for Bitcoin. Yet open interest didn't really move. I would expected, as I talked about, liquidations for that, and I would have thought open interest would have dropped quite significantly. Has dropped a tiny bit, but not really from where we were at the highs, because I would have thought people would have had stop losses below these wicks, stop losses here, even stop losses at the bottom of this range, which is the weekly close range that I've highlighted before. And I gave my target of where I thought the bottom might come in for Bitcoin be in this circle here when we were up here. And we have actually wicked into that zone. I said between 58 and 62k for Bitcoin was where I thought. However, it's very feasible that we come as low as this grey box here. And also, as you can see on trading different, this is on the daily time frame, it is feasible we come a bit lower. I don't think we do come into the 49k region. If we do, we might just see a wick to take out that leverage. That's why I've got possible question mark there. So if you watch a lot of my content, you'll know that we've talked about this before. But if we zoom in on the hourly time frame to look at the liquidation levels, I'll show you this is the path that we talked about, that I spoke about. I thought we were going to have like a few days ago, maybe yesterday morning when I made my YouTube. We were going to come up here, we're going to come down, we're going to bounce in this zone. We bounced literally bang on where I said that we were. Have a little push back higher and then a bit of a flush through. And I'll show you why I think we could potentially wick a little bit further down, because we've got obviously some liquidity here around that 58k region that I was talking about. But then we do have some liquidity building down here at 50,000. So depending on what happens, like it's possible. But realistically, I do think we're close to the bottom here. I had a call with a now friend, still like client. We still work together. And he said when we were up we're about 66k. He said that he's been trading well and he wasn't in any positions at the minute. What did I think? He wants to get back long on Bitcoin. He's a big player. He wants to get back long on Bitcoin. And what did I think? And I said to him, I think we're going to come down at least to 62, potentially to 58. So at 62, our plan was for him to take 20% position of what he wanted to allocate completely. He also has his spot bag as well, so it's just a small trading bag. 20% of his allocation at 62 and dollar cost average in if we came lower. So it looks like a good shout so far. If we compare that with Velo, somewhere else to get some information from, we can see that there's been some spot buy-in, so people buying actual spot Bitcoin. And we can see it's back in that area that I highlighted back in May, that area that I called the gap, because I said there was a gap here, is what we talked about. We're back in that area again now, so it's not a bad level to accumulate in my opinion. With that being said, let's go and have a look at XRP, and we're going to look at this wave count that obviously, I don't want to say I'm famous for, because I'm not famous for anything, but I've just been talking about it a lot. I've got mixed views on XRP right now, genuinely. Could we be bottoming here? Maybe. Do I think we have one more flush down? That is my base case. I always said between 48 and 52 cents for XRP. People got very upset about it. It's hard to post your opinion when people get upset about it. They call you an idiot. They call you this and that. But it looks to be around about right. There is one potential scenario that we could have already seen our bottom if we set. Oh, let's just touch the wrong thing there. could have already seen the bottom here if that's wave 4, 3, 4, and 5 like that. The reasons I do/don't think this is possible, I do think it's possible because normally in an ABC correction, so A, B, C, which is what this is, A and C are similar. C does have some extra scope to go a little bit longer though, and then ABC like this in a wave 2. But let's just leave it at that. A and C are pretty similar, and you can see this 5 waves down for A is really aggressive, and happens pretty quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would replicate something like this. However, it's not quite hit my target zone. I think we probably are looking more like this, something like this. And people asking me how will we know if and when this wave pattern has played out, which way will we know, how will I know when that's invalidated or whatever. It's invalidated if we breach the 61 cent because it invalidates the 5 waves down. That would either mean that we're having a larger 5 wave correction, or maybe we've finished the 5 wave correction, we're starting an impulsive move. For example, let's just say, let's move these out of the way. Let's just say this was wave 1. If we broke that 61 cent, then you would have to call that wave 2 because you can't breach the wave 2 high with a wave 4. So that would be like that, and then that wouldn't be great because it probably means something like that, which would then mean something like this, and probably a deeper correction lasting a longer period of time like that. So that isn't what I would like to see, but it's not about what I'd like to see, it's just about what the chart tells us. So that's basically where I am right now. I think we're probably going to have one more flush down of a wave 5, and then sometimes in crypto you might, like, you've had the 5 waves and it might go like this and just hover about here, and then it might just go like that and then bounce, and that's the bottom. So that's possible too. So that's basically where I am. I think we're really close to the bottom. I think XRP looks pretty good. It's holding up pretty well. And even though we've had so much bleeding from like everything, basically, if you look at XRP against Bitcoin and ETH, which I've been telling you guys are the most important things, it's still holding averagely well here, like not even averagely well, pretty well to be honest. Above this key resistance level here for Bitcoin, consolidating. In my opinion, getting ready for another leg higher against Bitcoin. You could say this is an impulsive one with a wedge or pennant into, which can be a wave 2. Pennants happen on waves 2 and 4 often. So if we're going to do some sort of Elliott wave structure here, you could say, if I can find it, you could say, like, realistically it starts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back into the zone, something along those lines. Could even be larger than that with a wave 3. Then we could see wave 4 like that, and wave 5 could take us up nicely above there. That could be cool. If we saw something like that, that's possible. So there's that for XRP against Bitcoin, and then XRP against ETH. Again, we're holding in that area where we're kind of above the resistance level. We're sort of fighting previous support and resistance, but still looking pretty good. So all in all, I'm not bearish. I think we're near the end of the correction, and if I'm right with all of this, then the next phase for XRP is extremely explosive to the upside. One last thing I want to touch on is this wedge. We've talked about this on the logarithmic. This pullback has taken us to touch the top side of this wedge again, but as support. So that's another thing that brings almost confluence in that we could have played out our 5 wave move. However, a wick inside and then rejection out isn't horrendous. But again, we're sitting above this key area of resistance. Or realistically, like here, look, nice candle closes above that. So they're all my thoughts, guys. I'm overall bullish. Let the market figure out what it wants to do next in terms of short term. After that, we're about ready to start sending it, in my opinion, and I'd like to see some impulsive price action, meaning some nice big fat green candles to come out of Bitcoin, ETH, and XRP specifically. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you enjoyed it, please let me know. Subscribe and share it with a friend. Peace up, A-Town Down, as Crypto Insight UK would say.